Hello all you DCG students, welcome back for a special edition for the DCG project. Okay, we need to talk about files first. Given that there has been delays to the project, as you well know, and you have 8 days to get it done from the time you come back to school, we need to have a look at what needs to be done in that amount of time. So the advice I'm providing here is in the context of the advice I've been given in relation to the projects or the DCG project that I've been doing with my own students. So I would have a specific structure, and your teachers would have a specific structure with, you know, how to go about doing a particular output or organising your outputs or how many pages in a particular output. So look, my advice here on this is specific to my own way of doing it, and hopefully, well, if it applies to you, fantastic. If not, there should still be plenty of stuff that you can take from this. Okay, so for example, my Solidworks hard copy output is only 1 page for part A and only 1 page for part B, and you see how I put that together. Okay, and what I do want to highlight as well is that, you know, there is, you know, the whole thing of file organization, creating e-drawing files, exploded assemblies, and so on and so forth. And all these things, they're all on a list of to do. Okay, and I'm going to go through that basically in a practical manner in this tutorial. And it's not something I normally do, but given the circumstances at the moment, I feel that, you know, you guys, you need a bit of a kind of a leg up, a bit of support, and I was happy to put this together and for it to be of some use to you, hopefully, moving forward. Now, in terms of your filing structure, guys, as recommended in the brief, you'll need to adhere to what's the criteria. So here's my file, okay, DCG SA 2021, Joe Lester. 2 folders there, electronic portfolio. That's where the actual portfolio will be for the project itself, the actual pages and outputs and research. And then I have the Solidworks folder just below it. And in that Solidworks folder, we have 2 other folders. Part A, that's for all the files for the part A of the project. That's the one you researched, the one you found out about and decided to model. And then you have the part B files as well. We'll go through that in a minute. So you see in here at the moment, I have all my part A files there. The parts, and I don't have any assembly there at the moment. I'm going to go through that. Then part B, you can assume part B should be done the same. I am only covering part A at the moment, alright? I'm not going to be doing a part B because it'll be the exact same process as what I've done for part A. So assume part B is the same as part A. The only difference is you're modelling your own dash cam, okay, the one that you designed. Or if you're doing ordinary level, you're modelling your own power bank, okay? So we need to just be mindful that a lot of this is transferable. So doing your assembly using photo view. So to create an assembly, what you do is you go up here to your tab at the top, go assembly, and OK. Now your work area is there. On the side you have your design tree and so on, and you know, familiar layout to when you're creating a part. However, we're going to be bringing parts in here and joining them together. So I'm just going to check the X button there first and give you a look there. Just to bear in mind, the first part you bring in is going to be important because that's, every other part is going to be kind of based off it. So I would recommend that you're bringing in the main body of your dash cam first. So I'm going to insert, browse, and then I'm going to go to and pick up the main body of the dash cam, okay, which is this part 1 here for me, okay. So I bring that in, and you can just have a little look around, see is everything okay, everything there, all looks okay, and so on. Okay, great. Next part I am going to bring in is the lens that fits in here. Okay, so just before I do that, don't I have a look there? Yeah, that looks good. Now, insert component, browse, and now I'm going to go lens. And the lens should be here for me, part 2. Okay, now when I'm creating a mate, what I want to do is, when I made this, I made the circumference here the same for both the housing and the lens itself. So I've selected here inside. Now I hold the control button down on my keyboard and I select the outside of the lens. I then go to mate, which is up here, and what that does is that aligns them. Okay, now you'll see there that it's kind of gone inside. When that happens, okay, just undo the mate there, because what we want to do is when I click on this first, it's X out of mate. I want to click and drag that out of the way, so that when we do get it into position, that it's not stuck inside. Okay, so again, click the inside, click there, and then mate. Okay, now what I want to do, because they're perfectly in line now, I'm going to check the back side surface in there and the back surface here, and now they are fully in position. Okay, now a third mate would lock it into position, but that doesn't matter whether it can spin around or not. That's fine. Next thing I'm going to do is confirm that mate and move on to the next part. So insert component, browse. I'm going to SD card, okay, because I've made that as a part as well. I'm going to select the side surface or the top surface there, and then I'm going to select the side surface inside in the SD slot that I've created. Okay, again holding the control button on the keyboard and then press mate. Once I have that there, I then press the top surface here, select that, again control and select the top surface inside, and I select that. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in a mate with a measurement inside here. So I'm going to select the back surface in here, if I can see it. Yeah, I can. Right in there. There we go, there's the back surface. So I'm going to mate that surface and the end of the SD card, but I don't want them to be fixed permanently in like that. I'm going to set a distance to it, and I'm going to type in 6. Okay. Now, that didn't do anything there at the moment, so we'll see what will happen there. We'll go back into the mates here, drop down menu, and right click and edit feature, and I want to add the distance to that there, 6 mil. 6 mil should be okay, just so I can see the SD there. Lovely. Now, that's all confirmed there, lovely. Now we'll move it on, we'll get to the top block here. So the mounting block that clips into the top of the dash cam, we'll focus on that now. So I'm going to insert component, browse, and it'll be part number, well actually before we do that, we'll do the actual LEDs, okay? So on the front of this there is a series of LEDs. So what I'm going to do firstly is I'm going to rotate this around into the opposite direction, because I want them facing out the way. Now look, in the mate process we could do that, but I just want to show you there's a move component tool there, and we can also rotate if you click on the down arrow option, rotate it around. Lovely. Now what I want to do is I want to select this surface here, and I want to select this surface here, holding the control button on my keyboard, and mate. Okay, next thing I want to do is I want to select the outside surface there, and ever so slightly the outside surface I have extruded from there, and now that aligns them. Okay, and I have positioned that now. Now I don't want to keep re-entering that, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you two things now. One is a circular component pattern, so I'm going to component to pattern, select the LED, and then I'm going to select the box here for the direction. Okay, so I'm going to select this circular surface that it's sitting on, the very edge of it. Now you can see an extra one popping in there, and I'm going to put in another one here, just 3 for the moment. And I'm going to space these out to 25 degrees, because that's what I did when I created the little pads for them in the first place. So that's fine. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the right plane, and I'm going to go to reference geometry, which will be listed here, and I'm going to click on plane. Now I'm going to bring in a plane now to go right through the center, okay? And we should be able to pick a point there now in a moment that allows us to put that plane on center. There we go, just like that. Okay, and check OK, and then what we're going to do is we're going to look for linear component and click the down arrow option and go to mirror. So I have the plane selected for mirror there. Now components to mirror, I'm going to select 1, 2, 3 LEDs, and they're going to be now in position on the other side perfectly. So I'll save that. Okay, so I'm going to call that part A underscore iTech DC assembly 1. Okay, save. And that's gone into my part A folder. Okay, make sure it's gone in there. So there we go. Now we have that at the moment, and now what we want to do is we want to add in the top block stuff. Kind of the bottom all looked after. I'm not doing the charger, just going to do the mounting mechanism now, and we'll see how that goes. So I'm going to insert component, browse. I'm going to go to the part 5 I have here, which is the iTech DC mount lock. Bring that in. Okay, I'm going to select this surface here and this surface here. Again, holding the control button and press mate. That's going to align them. And then I'm going to select the back surface here and the back surface here, and that aligns them. And I'm going to select the side surface here, and again, holding the control button, I'm now going to click on the side surface here, and it slides it into position. Okay, so I have the mount block there now, and that's in position perfectly. It's fully defined. Now what I want to do is insert the arm. Okay, well, I call this the arm. Okay, we just have a quick look at that before we do anything. You can see all the features and geometry on it. Okay, these are for the little clip that gives the impression for the suction to be made with the suction pad on the windscreen. I have thread here, and inside here I have a hollow, and the diameter of that hollow matches the diameter of the sphere here. That creates the ball joint, okay, that allows the camera to move. And there's going to be a lock nut around that the more you lock the nut, the tighter it gets. The looser, the more you can move it. Okay, so we're going to create the mate here first, like so. Select both surfaces, holding the control button, press mate. Now, you can see here, okay, it moves around on that. Okay, no problem. Now, do we want it moving around? Well, it doesn't really matter. Now, for the neatness sake of your drawings, just press a surface looking straight at you from the elevation to front view, and then look straight at it, control 8, and we'll see there, you can see it's tilting off to one side. So what you can do here is you can manually just, manipulate it around if you want. So as you can see here, I'm just moving the object around there, and what I want to do now is show you how to secure that object into place, okay, i.e. so that it's in a fixed position. Now we could fix it a couple of ways, but I'm going to select that surface there. I'm going to select the top surface here on top of that mounting block, okay, and then I'm going to click on mate, and then we're going to add a parallel relationship, okay. You see parallel there on the left hand side. Now for the next part, what we want to do is we want to highlight where we can establish a mate between two surfaces. So you can see now the rotation is limited. I'm now going to click on the side here, and I'm going to click on the side here, okay, of the mounting block, and I'm going to add again another parallel relationship there. So now that is completely fixed in that position, and the value of that is that when we go to do our drawn sheet, it's going to allow us to produce drawings that are neat and consistent across all the elevation plans and end views. Now what I'm going to do here, okay, is I'm going to insert the nut, okay, and that nut has an internal diameter matching the diameter on the arm piece, okay, and so we're going to add a relationship there, okay, concentric mate, and then I'm going to mate the bottom surface of that nut to align with the bottom surface just underneath the threaded end on top of the sphere. But I want to add a distance in there, and I'll type in 3 mil there, because I want to show some of those threads, okay, because they'll provide nice detail when I do my drawn sheets. Now again, insert component, okay, this time we're going to insert the clip that fits onto the arm, and you'll see here that I'm going to move component, rotate it, okay, and then I am going to align it with the little fitting that is just protruding out there. I've highlighted it there now. So we're going to get a concentric mate there. Okay, so selecting the surfaces, holding control. They're now in line. We'll check that out. Yeah, that's good. And what I want to do now is I'm going to select this outside surface and this surface here. but I'm going to put a condition on that, 0.9 millimeters of measurement. And in this case, you see it's centered the wrong way. So I want to flip that dimension to get it on center. And as you can see there now, that it's equidistant either side, and I'm happy with that from an assembly point of view. I am leaving that like that, so you can see if I click on the actual thing there, I can lift it up or down, as you can see here now. Okay, so it's nice to have that as a kind of a movable feature, and it looks well like that. Now, what I'm going to do is insert component again, and we're going to go for the suction pad this time. Okay, so this is a translucent rubber material that's going to fit in there into the top section, and this is the bit now that sticks it to the windscreen. Okay, so you just got to be very careful selecting on the translucent material. You probably have to select on an edge, which is what I'm going to do here now. So select the edge, and I'm going to select the edge that it's going to mate to. There, as you can see. Now, I'm going to mate, and it puts it into position straight away. Okay, and I made that, kind of straight on, so it doesn't need to be adjusted around or anything like that. And you can see some of the detail through it as well. So, all in all there, and I'm putting it into perspective there so we can have a look at it. And perspective view, especially when you are doing any sort of photorealistic view, photo view 360, which we'll be going through in a moment. And I'm just playing around with the background here, just changing it to white, because when you transfer the photo view images into, say, a document like Google Docs or PowerPoint, it's easier to remove the background if it's white, but it doesn't always turn out right, so I might change that back in a few moments before I actually do that photo view 360. But before I do that, I want to just edit the lighting. Okay, so click on your display manager there on your design tree, and then go to scene lights and camera and directional lights there. We want to turn them on. Okay, on in photo view 360, on in photo view 360, and I want to you can see all the edit all lights, and you'll see the lights here now. Okay, I'm going to go for that one first, and I'm going to drag it down. Now you do have to be careful here trying to drag it, because the little arrows, they're not always as, my mouse wouldn't be fantastic now. If you had a good CAD Pro mouse, it would probably be very sensitive to all these things. But I'm just positioning it so that there's plenty of light directly on that surface, because I don't want it to be in any way dark when it comes to me making a photo of it. And we'll go through that photo process in a few moments. So you can see there, I'll take that, that's okay. Happy enough with the amount of light there. Perspective, shadows are on there now, as you can see. I'll just turn them off again because they're just a nuisance when it comes to your photo views. And the lines are turned off there. So you can see there the quality already of the look of the object in its real view state there is pretty good. But I want to go to photo view 360. If you don't have it, go to tools, go all the way down to the bottom. There's a little arrow down there, and go to add-ins. And then when you get to add-ins, check the box there for photo view 360. And if you want to add it to your startup menu so that it's always there when you start up SolidWorks, just tick the little box opposite. You'll see it there now. I'll go up to it in a second. Okay, so there's a startup column there right beside, and there's the box right there. Make sure that's ticked on. So, getting back to the photo view 360, we'll go into the options first and have a little look. Okay, so options, and 1920 by 1080 is a good size. Standard enough for the images. Quality though, that's important. We need to know about quality. There are 4 levels: good, better, best, and maximum. I do best because my computer is not that great, so it doesn't really do maximum any better than it does best. And if you do maximum quality, they take time too. The best ones come out in half the time, just as good. So that's okay, I'm happy with that. Now, we'll go back up here, and we're going to go to just before we do, I'm just conscious about this background now as well, because I'm seeing reflections in on the surface there. So I'm going to add an extra directional light. Okay, you'll see here, and I'm going to make sure that it's well lit. I'm going to play around with that for a second, just make sure that the surface is well lit. Now I know these are things that, when you're under pressure trying to get things done, you might go, well, what's the value of it? Well, when you get your images out and they look really good, well, it all pays off. Okay, so I'm happy with that. And as well, I'm going to go back up here, and I'm going to go back to the 3-point faded default. Okay, because there's what you see here is you're getting reflection here from other scenes that aren't actually on screen at the moment with that white one, and I don't know why that is. So I'm not going to delay with that. I'm just going to go back to 3-point faded, and that'll default it back, and you can see there's no reflections of anything that shouldn't be there. Okay, so we'll go to our photo view 360 now. Once we're happy enough with that, just don't worry about anything else there. So options, just double checking best and best. Yeah, that's okay. I'm happy with that. And I always check it just in case it sets back to some other level. Final render, and then you'll see the preview window will open up here now in a moment, and we can see the actual rendering process take place, and the image being produced. Okay, so that generally it takes a few moments, but the key thing there is that, like, look, once the image has been fully processed, like, you're getting a real view of what it is you're after making, and you can see there already as it's been revealed how good the quality looks, and the extra bit of light, how it's highlighted surfaces, and of course once the pixelation process completes there, you see the final image is of a very high standard, and it almost looks the real deal. Okay, now I could play around with it in other ways, but I'm just going to save that for the moment. I'm saving it into my electronic portfolio. We'll call it iTech Image 3, I think. I-T-E-K, capital T there. I'll go back and change that. Apologies about that. And Image 3. And save. And I'll be using that later on. Okay? But you can see there when you zoom in the quality and so on. So I'm going to close that there now. And then we're going to go on to creating an eDrawn file and exploded assembly file. Now what we're going to focus on here is we're going to look at creating an eDrawn file. Now it's very simple. File, save as, and then the drop down menu there, look for the eDrawn's .easm file and save. Okay, and you want to save that into your part A folder. Okay, if it was the part B one, save it into part B. And all that does is it saves the assembly as a kind of almost like a viewer file. So, like, for example, I'll open it up here, and when the examiner comes around or is correcting the project work, sometimes not all the files open up properly. So he or she can actually open up the viewer file, the eDrawns file, and look at the model. And it looks quite well, and they can select different parts and have a look and check out the geometry and so on. And you could make little videos and that from it as well. But look, it's very effective, and it is a real backup. Okay, so I'm going to close that now. Okay, so let's get back to it. The next thing we want to file. Well, before we do that, actually, we'll just save first. Okay, now we're going to go File, Save As, and I'm going to, between DC and Assembly, I'm going to type in Exploded. E-X-P-L-O-D-E-D. Okay. And save. And that's saved into part A. And the reason I'm doing this is because we do include exploded views in our drawn sheets. And I rather have this as a separate assembly file, as you can see there now. And here we are now. The exploded assembly 1. So, what I want to do there is I want to create an exploded view. So I hit the tab Exploded View. And what this allows me to do is it allows me to pull all the different parts apart. Okay, even though they're mated together. And this is for viewing purposes. Okay, so I'm going to click on this top part. The arrows are quite sensitive, so be patient. Alright, that's what I'd say. It's very easy, click the wrong one and it goes the wrong way and so on. So we just get that clip there now. We'll move that. No, we'll move it to the side. I think we'll do that the other way. And again, we just want to space out the components so that we can see them all. Okay, but that we'd know that, that if they were to collapse back together, that they'd go where they'd go, So we'll drag that up out of the way a little bit. Now we'll get down here to the main camera, and you'll see I have all these LEDs, so I can select them all, holding the control button on my keyboard, select them all, and we can move them all together in unison. Okay, and I come around for that one there, and lovely. Now I'll try and drag that up after selecting the whole lot there. Just click that bit off, that's fine, and I get the arrow and drag it down. Now I get that lens in there. Again, I'll drag that down now, or out to the side. Yeah, that looks alright there. The SD card, I'll drag that out to the side too. Get it out to the side there. And then the top block is the bit there, but I'll drag the main body down. I'll bring that SD card in a little bit actually. So you can actually see there how simple and effective that is, that exploded view, how to display all your components, and you'll see how handy that is later on, and even for creating photorealistic views. And I recommend you do the individual parts all the time for the photorealistic views. So take a picture of each part, and then you can use them back into your sheets. Remember, you don't have to have photorealistic views in your part A, but I throw them in anyway, but they are mentioned for part B. Now while we're at it, I'm going to save this particular view by going View Orientation, click on the little telescope at the start, and I'm going to type in Joe 1 here, and click OK. And when I go to do my drawn sheets, that will be available in the view palette for me to actually, insert into the drawn sheet. And so yeah, pretty cool, very effective. And you can see there now, if we look back through the folder, we have all our parts, all our assembly files there, including the eDrawn assembly and the exploded assembly, and that's pretty much it. So now, drawn sheet time. Okay, so drawn sheet, what do we do? Well, firstly, we go up here to our tab at the top, and we click on drawing. Okay, now we're going to get an option box here, alright, and what I'm going to do is select A3 here, and what we're going to do is we're going to edit a sheet, save it in our own format, so it's available for all our drawings whenever we need them. Okay, so we press OK here. Now you'll see this background here, I don't particularly like that, okay, but what we'll do is check off the model view thing. We'll go to the sheet on the left hand side where it says Sheet 1, and right click, and then we'll go to Edit Sheet Format. Okay, now what I can do is click and drag over that and press delete, and then there's a little return button here, click on that, and now we have a blank page. You can put a border in if you want. I'm not going to put a border in because I am doing a one-page hard copy output, so I need to squeeze on as much stuff as possible onto this page when it comes to it. And then I'm going to be screenshotting this page into my actual portfolio document, and I'm going to be adding in photorealistic photos around it. So I kind of, having the border there at the moment is not a necessity for me. Okay, now what we want to do though is we want to make this sheet available for you every time you're doing a sheet. So File, Save Sheet Format, and what we're going to do here now is we are going to save it as your you can save it exam number name, so I call it DCG underscore sheet 1, okay, or output 4. If I could type properly, it would be great. Now, so we'll save that there, and look, you can use the same sheet then for your output 7, okay, which is the Solidworks for your own one that you've designed. You'll be following the same steps as I would be doing for this one anyway, so I'm not going to be repeating that. Now I have that. What I want to do is I don't want to start creating a drawing straight away. I want to show you how this is available to you. When I close that, it's going to ask you to save it, so save all, and what you're going to do is into the part A there, you're just going to save that as blank sheet. Okay, just to show the examiner, look, there's the sheet I created. Now, so we go to drawing, okay. This time now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to browse. And when I go to browse, I'm going to look for DCG output 4. There it is. Open. And you can see there's the preview. It's just a blank page. And it's A3 size. Okay. Before we start adding in any stuff to this page, we want to go to Sheet. Okay. Want to right click and go Properties. Now, this has defaulted to third angle. Now, I can set it up, I can customize it to go to first angle, but as a default measure, it's always the third angle. We draw on first angle, so you want to click that on, and the reason I've left that like that is because it's probably going to be the same case for you guys in school. Okay, so click that on, and everything else there is okay. Now, you can look at things like scale on the sheet and so on, but we're going to have multiple scales on the sheet with different things. Just click on your A3 is there. We have that anyway, so that's okay. Okay, so that's actually after bringing up a different sheet there, sorry. So I won't save that, I'll just reopen my sheet there. Apologies about that. So browse, and we just go here to DCG output 4, and okay. And then in properties, right click, properties, and first angle. Okay. Okay. Now we're going to save this sheet into our part A. Okay, so we'll save it as part A underscore I tech DC. That's just a model of my dashcam. I tech DC drawing sheet 1. Okay. Now, so how do I insert models onto this? So I go to view layout, go to model view, and what I want to do is I want to browse, and this is going to bring me to my part A. Well, you'll look for your part A folder if you want to find it. Mine's on my desktop. That's where the folder is. I go in to the Solidworks part A and find it. Now I'm looking for my main assembly file, which is part A iTech DC assembly 1. Okay. Now, what I want is the front view. Here you'll see orientation, right? This is like your view palette. Well, there's a view palette on the other side as well. But you can see here, I have all the different orientations. And if we scroll down as well, we have scale as well. And I'll show you how to adjust all those, and display. So typically they'll be the 3 you'll be using when you're putting this together. So I'm just going to click in here, an elevation, a plan, and an end view. Just like that. Okay, now that was quite quick, wasn't it? So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to click on the outline for the elevation, okay? And I'm going to adjust the scale, okay? And I'm going to bring it to 1:1. So you can see I went to custom scale and 1:1. And we're going to position them pretty much as tightly as we can get them into this corner of the page here. And that's just kind of, because I'm going to be squeezing a lot onto it. Now, if I want, I can outline each of these. Okay, I'm going to outline that one, and I can have it as color, which is pretty cool. And maybe this one here, if I click the outline on the plan view, I can have that as maybe just solid lines. And then if I click the outline on the end view, which is this one here, I can maybe have hidden detail on that one. Okay, I think that looks pretty cool. Now, I want to add in a few dimensions. There's 2 things. You can do an auto dimension, and it'll bring in a whole load of dimensions all at once, and it could be very, very messy. I'd rather just keep it to the dim expert where you're selecting lines and giving the main dimensions. Width, height, radiuses where you can, and so on. Okay? So what we'll do now is we will get to the dimensioning after I just press save again. Keep pressing save. We don't want to lose anything with the program crashing or anything like that. So I'm going to zoom in here now, and I am going to select the bottom line. Okay, that's the bottom measurement. I'm going to select the bottom line and the top line, and that's going to give me a height, which is great. And then I'm going to select some of these circles here. Okay, that's that one. We go out to this one. That one is obviously fillet. What is about that? There it is there. Radius 22. And we got some of the internal radiuses here. 6. And then the lens itself 3.6. Get a radius there for one of the LEDs. We'll get the positioning here now for the radius on the ball joint. That's fine. We'll get the height of the nut there. That's okay. We'll get, you know, so on. There's like loads of different measurements we can take, guys, and we could be at it all day. But look, we don't need to have absolutely everything as much as we'd like to. If we put everything in, it'd be just too messy, okay? So that's probably enough for the elevation there for me for the moment. Then what I'll do is I'll go to the plan view and I'll start to do out a few more measurements from here. So for example, I might be able to get the radius for that. Now that says true radius, and the reason it says true is because we're not looking at directly at the circle. So it's saying the true radius, even though it looks elliptical, the true radius is whatever. Okay? And then we have, you know, for example, another measurement here. We try and get a measurement from the back to the front, to here, and we'll get that. And then we'll try and get another one from the back all the way to the front. And generally you can pick up points here and there. And they mightn't always be the exact points you want, but look, it's something that we just want to kind of gather general information and so on. Now we can take the width on that, I think it's 0.7 and 0.7, 0.75, and we can leave that there like that. And of course you can change the size of your font and all that if you want. There's no hassle at all. We can take a width on this nut here now as well, and like so. And you know, we can take radiuses here and you know, widths here, and we can take well, we have this one already, but we could take a radius off the back side there like that. We can take a length out the front. How far does that stick out? We can take, you know, there's lots and lots of information. Okay, now what we want to do then, okay, is again press save. Okay, the next thing I want to do is I want to get some alternative views. So I want to get the back side with the screen and the bottom. So we'll focus on that now. So view layout, we'll get model view, we'll get again the same file, and this time I want to get the back view. Okay, so this is the front elevation, this is the rear elevation. So if I put that in, I should get the rear. Okay, now we'll go to custom scale, we go 1:1, we see will that fit in, escape there, will that fit in there at scale 1:1. So use custom scale 1:1, and you can see there we're just about going to get away with that. Lovely. And what I want to do is turn on the color there, and then I'll be able to get a couple of dimensions in on the surface of that there, especially for the screen, which is really, really important. So here we go here, 52 there on that, and here 32, and then like, you know, we have lots of other bits and pieces there, like we could take the height from here to here, 4.5, and so on, but that's probably enough on that. Okay, now there is a back section there that flattens off, we could probably include that there as well. What I want to do now is I want to get the underside of the actual model itself. So I go back to view layout. Before I do, press save, go to model view, click on the model here, and what I want to do is I want to get the underside elevation, which is this top box here. Okay, and you'll see there, we're going to scale it up 1:1. 1:1 means it's actually the actual size. That's, you know, they're not very big objects, you know, or artifacts. So here I am, I have that there, and I'll position it there, and I think I'll put it in color. Okay, so you can see there I have now applied the color to it, and it looks quite well at the scale it is. And if I wanted, I could apply some dimensions here. So for example, sketch, smart dimension, and you know, I could give a size for you know, a particular button. I don't have to do every one of them. Okay, by no means do I have to do that. Okay, but I can indicate I want it's 8 by 3.59 or thereabout. Okay, and so yeah, there's lots of information there. That again, I could take the front width there on the front of the lens. I could take the lengths of the actual LEDs. Okay, at least up until they curve, and so on and so forth. Okay, so we'll save that. Now, from there, what we want to do is we want to start to take some additional views. For example, a section view. So I go to View Layout and I go to Section View. I have 4 options: vertical, horizontal, angular, or alternate line section. So I'm going to select vertical and I'm going to go over here to my end view. Okay, and I am going to place a line there roughly, and we're only demonstrating that we can create a section view here, and we might move it a little bit there to not include the top part. Okay, and auto hatch on. Okay, and it gives me this view. Now what I want to do with that is I want to right click on it. I want to go to alignment and break alignment. Now once I have broken the alignment, I can move that down anywhere I like, and then what I can do is I can apply a different scale. So I'll go to custom scale, and I think probably looking at user defined here, which means I can type in the scale I want. So I think 1.5 might be a suitable scale for it. Okay, so you can see now it's reduced in size. I think it's more suitable for the level of information it's given us, which is not a huge amount. We're demonstrating a particular facet of the actual assortment of drawings that we can do here. I'm moving the section AA scale 1 is to 1.5 into a position where it's not interfering with anything else, and there we go. Okay, next thing now we want to do is we want to explore what else can we do in view layout. We can do projected views, we can do auxiliary view. So for example, if I go to view layout, model view, again select the assembly, and say if I select an elevation and click it there and drag down to the corner, I can actually select a model view like so, an auxiliary view. Now once I have the auxiliary view there, I can delete the elevation, yes, and what I can do is I can drag it down into a position where I think it's going to fit well, and I can upsize it. So I'm going to go scale 1 is to 1 here, and I might go, you know what, that might be a little bit on the big side. Okay, so what I'll do there is I'll go 1 is to 1.5, so user defined, 1 is to 1.5, enter. And I might go, bit too small, so 2.5, see how we go, and that looks a bit better. Again, just very conscious of the space on the page, because I'm doing a single page output on this, and then I turn on the color. Now, other views that I want to add in before I get into the really detailed stuff, I want to go to, for example, a dimetric view here. So I have isometric view, okay? I can bring it in like that, or I can select dimetric or trimetric. Dimetric, here we go, it gives you that type of an angle. Now if I wanted to change that, I'll just click on the view, go down again here, and then what I can do is I can click on, say, trimetric, and I changed it there. Do I like that, or do I prefer the more standard isometric? Well, I think the trimetric in this case looks well, so I'll select that, and then what I'm going to do is rescale it, but I want to give it a decent scale in this case, so I'll go 1 is to 1, because I kind of want this to be the standout 3D view. Okay, so we have a good lot of detail there, that's nice, and I can leave that where it is, and we can save. Now, after that, I want to explore the view layout options. I have a number there, broken out section, breakout, and so on. I don't see any real need for those. What I do see is highly beneficial is the detail view. So I'll click on that, and that allows me to draw a circle over any particular detail to enlarge it or decrease it. So for example, if I wanted to see more of this part here, I would do that, and I would be able to create a broken out section view there. Now I'll take that and I'll apply the scale beside it, and then I will go to my detail section view once again, and I will find another area where I want to get some detail. Maybe it could be the treads here. So I'll take the treads and I'll apply that there, and again just take the detail notice and apply it somewhere else, just by clicking on it and moving it. Then I can take maybe a closer picture of the lens and one of the LEDs there, and that gives us another nice view. And then I can also have a look at some of the detail on the bottom surfaces here, just with some of the user interface there. And again, we'll just want to relocate the note there with the detail information. We can take a breakout view of, for example, the part here, the charger dock. Escape that. We'll want to make that a little bit bigger. So I will take a point here and draw it there, and we can place that in there. And again, just drag that up and into position. We can also take one of the little screw in here. You mightn't see it normally, but there is a little screw there. Okay, and there was a little bit of work in those, and I do want to show them off. And don't be afraid to show your work off. Okay, you know, if you're, I know a lot of my guys are very proud of the work they've done. Okay, and so we want to make sure that it's shown off and in the correct way, not just for marks, but as a moment of, you know, recognizing the work that was done. That's very important. So I have that. Now what I'm going to do is I am going to insert, I'm going to save, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to open, well, not the internet, but I am going to open the exploded assembly. So I take the exploded assembly, and what I'm going to do now is I am going to go back to my drawing sheet. I'm going to go to model view. I'm going to go to exploded assembly. Okay, double click on it. Go down here and see if the one, you remember when I saved it as Joe 1? Well, I'm going to put Joe 1 in here now. Okay, like so. And what I'm going to do is, and that gives me the view of the exploded object, all the parts individually. And I'm going to use custom scale and see if 1:1 works. In fact, I might go for an enlarged scale, 2:1. Maybe a bit too big, so we go user defined. So I might change that back to 1.5:1. Okay, and that looks pretty good. Okay, so I'll drag that down into a position where it's not too much in the way, and I will change its color and so on. And from here I'll be able to take more section views as well. But firstly, what I'll do is I will go to Annotation and I'll go to Balloon. Now I can do Auto Balloon or Normal Balloon, and you'll see how this works in a moment. We'll go Normal Balloon. So what that allows us to do is click on all of the individual pieces, and what it'll do is it'll give us a part number, a description, and so on of the different bits of work we've done. So sometimes you have to be patient when you're trying to click on them. And then you have the top block there, the piece here, piece here. I used to be very particular about those lines, but over the years it don't bother me anymore. Let's escape that. You'll see that one didn't come up. Well, that means I need to just go back there and again kind of find a point that I can attach the balloon to, and here as well. Okay, so you can see there I have all 9 parts now labelled there. That's lovely, and I'm going to click on the outline for that, as you can see that broken line rectangle, and I'm going to go to Insert, Tables, Bill of Materials, and I'm going to tick Bomb Standard is there, and like so. And it brings me this table of information. Now, you can see here it says item number, part number, description, quantity. Now you can type in the description if you want. I'm actually going to click on that column in the top bit where it says C and press delete and get rid of it. Okay? Because I don't need it. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to stretch out the width of the columns so I can kind of maybe decrease down the initial size of some of the bits and pieces. Okay? Now I can do that by selecting all the text. Okay? And I can decrease the size of the text. Okay? And that can allow me to fit more stuff in. Like so. Okay? look, all that's depending on what you need to do, don't need to do, up or down or in or out or whatever. Okay, and of course I can reduce the size of the quantity column. I don't need it being that wide, there's only numbers in there, and I can move it over by clicking and dragging on the edge. And we'll put it up in the corner there out of the way. Okay, now that bottom row is slightly out of line, and there we go. So now we have a table there with a bill of materials, and we have our exploded view with all our parts. And now what we can do is we can take some alternative section views. I'm actually going to place that one there. What we can do now is we're going to bring in views of individual parts that we didn't really get a proper look at here as of yet. So let's have a look. Firstly there, just a little bit of rearranging. Bring that down a little bit lower because we have a little bit of clutter there, but it's just going to be the nature of the page for us. So just press save there. Now we're going to go to view layout, model view, and we're going to go to browse, and we're going to select individual parts. We'll start off with the lens. We'll open. We'll take the lens from the front view here, and we'll see there that the size comes in quite big. Click on the outline and we'll scale it down, and we'll go to let's say 2:1, and we'll see what happens there. Sorry, escape there first. Lens there, and we'll give it a bit of colour first actually, and we'll go scale 2:1. Bit small, maybe we'll go 5. Lovely. Okay, I will put the lens up there, and by putting that up there now, we'll be able to go to Annotation, Smart Dimension, and I'll be able to more specifically give information on the lens itself. Okay, and of course I think it might actually be better on this case if we turned the lines on, because there are quite a few lines in there. Okay, now so next thing we'll do is we'll add in another part, model view. We'll go to browse, we'll go to nut, open, and we don't want the front view in this case, we want the top view of the nut, so that A. Okay, and what we'll do there is, before we put it in, we'll change the scale to maybe 5:1. Maybe we'll go to user defined, maybe we'll go 3:1, just to show you how to change that up, and we'll see how that is. And there we go, look at that, that's fine. Okay, we don't need any additional views, we can just click and drag it in there now, and we should be able to get some dimensions in there as well. Now, do we want a bit of colour on it? I think so. So what we'll do there is we'll just put it in as a solid colour like that, and what we'll do is we will Smart Dimension the inside radius and the actual edge of the hexagon itself. Okay, now what we'll do is we will take in our next part. So again, same procedure. This time we'll take the SD card. Now we'll take it looking down on top. We'll change the scale of it. We'll use a custom scale. We'll go 2:1 and see how that is. I think that's fine. Okay, and again what we'll do there is we'll put it in colour, and we'll apply colour. Lovely. And we could of course apply some dimensions here as well if we want. So Annotation, Smart Dimension, and what I can do there is I can click from one end to the other, because I have all the corners filleted, so I can't really just click a line there, and that's enough detail on that. Okay, escape. And now we'll go to view layout, we'll go model view, and what we'll do is we'll go to browse, and we will go to the clip. Okay, what we'll do with the clip is we'll put it in here, but we don't want it in that view. Okay, in fact the clip is probably going to work out better for us in the isometric. So like for example here, so I'll delete out this initial view, and what I can do here is I can scale that down. So I'll go to scale, and we'll just go 2:1, big enough, and from there then maybe we might go a little bigger, maybe we might go 3:1. 3 is to 1. Yeah. And then what we'll do is we'll give it a little bit of colour, okay, with lines. Because we have nice thumb grip material in there, work done on that, so we'll want to show that off a little bit too. Just going to drag that down there. Now, we can actually link them in together there because they're both the same thing essentially. And we'll just click on the outline there. Okay. So now we have, let's see there now, bit of a freeze going on the screen here. Okay, just want to select that one. I think what I might do is actually put it onto solid color. Okay, and if I wanted to add a dimension to that, again, smart dimension, okay, we can, get a width off at the front there. We can take a diameter here, true radius. And we get a true radius of the edge here as well. We might take that from inside here. And we might take a kind of a front measurement there. And no, we won't, because we have that on the draw. Okay, so we have that there. Now what we might do is add in another part. View layout, model view, and we'll go to browse, and we'll go to our part here with the arm. Okay, in fact, we want this one to be in the end view position, like so. I think we'll go that side. Lovely. This one here, actually, I'm going to reduce the size of it just a little bit. I think we'll go back to the 2:1, because I do need a little more space there than initially thought. So I'll push that on up there, and we'll push this one up here a little bit as well. And again, look, space is at a premium. Okay, we have lots of information, but we don't want to throw the baby out with the bathwater either. So I'm going to fit this guy in here. Maybe I can make him a little bit bigger. Maybe we go 1.5 is to 1, so I might go user defined. 1.5 is to 1. Okay, and what I can do there is I can just gently take him out onto that. I'll put the lines in there. I'll put the lines on him so you can see the geometry. And from there, we get a nice view of it. And then we'll go to the model view. We could add more information onto that as well. We'll take the top block here. We'll take the scale down a good bit on this one. I think if we just place them there for the moment. And we take the scale down to, let's see there, escape. Let's have a look there. And we go down here to, let's say 2:1. Okay, and we throw that in there. And we'll give it again another line and save, and we can, we can take measurements there and apply them, though I think we have a radius for the spherical part anyway, and some of the other parts in the main view, so that should be okay. View layout again, we'll go to model view, go browse, and we'll go to the LED, open. I think we'll go to the end view position there. We'll give it a bit of colour, escape, bit of colour, and then we'll add adjust that scale there 2:1. Okay, and we'll just put that up there. And I think the only piece we have left there now is the actual suction pad, and we can fit that suction pad in to position right in here. Okay, and now if we can take the suction pad and maybe use it as a, let's see, we can give it a bit of colour, we can change the scale of it. I think a scale of 1:1 is probably a bit small, but we can go user defined, and we can go 1.5:1, and I think if we just move it down here ever so gently, that will work well, and we'll be able to get a nice measurement on there to record the actual radius, true radius of there. Okay, and then we have just a small bit of space left in here where I think we can probably go back to view layout, take a detail view, and maybe just have a tiny look at one or two other features maybe that we feel we maybe didn't give any attention to, like the power button here and the screw in the plan view. Okay, and wherever that went to. Okay, I think we may do that one again. Delete. Yes. Now we'll go back there, detail view, and we'll go there, and that one's not coming up for some reason, but we can certainly find another view of another part somewhere, because that one is at the end of the day going to be visible, so we don't need to be over picky about that. If I move that out of the way, let me see, will that make a difference? No. So they're not appearing there at the moment, which is a pity. What I'm going to do is I'm going to move that there to there. I'm going to move this guy over to here, just to make that a little more central. That's good. That looks a bit neater there now. And take a section detail view. We might just look at some of the detail in on the let's have a look there. And again here I'm just trying to pick what could be very relevant there, like on the neck. Okay, now we can change the scale of that. Okay, for example, if I just move that up there, I can actually take that down a little notch there. We might go to 2.5:1, not 0.5, 2.5, 2.5. Okay, and I think that's better. And there we can get a look on a little piece there that joins in. And I think that completes everything out pretty nicely there. So that's my page. Okay, what I want to do there now is I want to take that page and I want to screenshot it out. Firstly, what I want to do is I want to go to File, okay, and I want to go to Page Setup. And the reason I'm doing this is because I want to get this into the print preview page, and from there then I want to be able to screenshot it out because it'll give me a nice clean white background. Okay, first thing is scale to fit, check that option, and then A3. Okay, now what we do is we go File, Print Preview, and everything's scaled and fitting onto the page. Now on your computer, depending on your keyboard arrangement, press Control and PRTSC, which is print screen, or it could be roll print screen, or you might have to, if it's in alternate colors, do FN print screen. So I'm going to press Control print screen now. You don't notice anything happening, but actually what is happening there is I am after taking a picture of the screen, and if I open PowerPoint, okay, just take a moment, and what we'll be able to do is transfer that snapshot. So you can imagine now, if this is my actual me opening up my project, the actual electronic portfolio, okay, and you'd be pasting in this screenshot into position. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to just firstly change the slide layout. Okay, I want to change it to A3. Okay, and I want to ensure fit. Grand. I'm going to paste on the drawing there, right click and paste, and I'm going to crop. And I'm going to crop it to the edges, like so. And then I'm going to drag it out. Now the only thing is I don't want to drag it fully out at the moment. Okay, I want to leave a bit of space because I'm going to have some of those photorealistic views. I'll just insert a temporary heading here to make it look like an output page. So what I'll do is insert text box. I'll go output 4 hard copy of Solidworks part A. Alright, and then we might jazz that up a little bit there with a different type of a font. Maybe background is nice, and make that a little bit bigger. Okay, lovely. So what I want to do now is insert a picture. So I'm going to insert picture, and that will be here, and that's where I've saved the images. And I'm going to insert the first image here. Okay, and you see nice clean image. I'm going to crop out the background first here, like so, and then I am going to do the same on the other side. And then what I'm going to do is click on the picture again, go to format, go to remove background, and then I will drag out the remove box. Okay, and you see there everything is pretty much removed around it. Now there's the odd little bit here, that's okay. So I can position now that nice photorealistic view up into the corner over here, alright, to supplement the drawing I have done. And then I can take my for example, I have done a previous picture of the exploded view. I'm going to insert that. Okay, format, and then I'll crop it first, and then what I will do is I will then remove background. Okay, now removing background in this one, you're going to have to select individual items. I'll show you how to do that. That's if you're using PowerPoint. Again, you can do most of this in Google Docs and stuff as well. I'm just going to highlight the things that I want to keep, like so. And it's just, you know, your little LEDs, you know, they will each require a little bit of attention, and the lens, and yeah, let's say that was that. Great. Now, where are we going to put all these? Well, what you can do is you can just drag that out to the side, copy, and then what you can do is you can crop to each individual one. Now, I would recommend though that you take a proper photo view of each one, okay? So that you can paste them on and they'll be of much better quality than, you know, this quick way I'm showing you here. I'm doing that because I just don't want to be going on for too long about too many different things, okay? Probably gone on long enough. So, you know, a suction pad there, you know, the quality wouldn't be massive on that. It'll just give a general idea, okay? And so on. Okay, so I could add in a whole load of different images there, but I would prefer if you went back into your Solidworks and let's see there, close and save, that you actually took the time to render them one by one. Okay, so for example, you would open a part, okay, say for example the lens, open it, and then what you do with the lens there is you get into a position you like, and then you go to 4-view 360 and final render. Okay, and that'll give you a much better image, and you can insert that image and edit it in any way you want. Okay, that would be my recommendation on that. Now, for the we want to create a PDF of this as well and put it into the folder. So we go to File. We'll just press Save first, Save All, and we'll go to File, Save As. Click on the options underneath, PDF, and we're in Part A folder, Save. Okay, and what that's going to do is create a PDF copy of the drawn sheet, just in case there was any issues with opening the drawn sheet. That's very, very important. And of course, if we have a look back into the folder now, we'll see that the drawn sheet is there. And if we were to open that, you'd see all the information there. grand. And if the examiner was having issues with the electronic file from Solidworks, he could open that and have a look, just like with the eDrawn. Now, we're going to just sum it up here. So let's say with more images, that would be the completion of your hard copy output in one page. That's just the way I'm doing it. Alright, your teacher might be doing 2, possibly even 3, which are highly unlikely, but I'm just doing 1. And I'm fitting in everything I need on it. Now it looks like a whole load of stuff there, but it's ticking all the boxes. Okay? So what I'll do is I'll close that. I'm not going to save it. And then I just want to review what should be in that Part A folder. Okay? So, and this likewise for Part B. Again, you'll have blank sheet. Part 1, your parts. You'll have your eDrawn assembly, your main assembly file, your exploded assembly file. You'll have your drawn sheet, your SolidWorks drawn sheet, and then you'll have your PDF drawn sheet. Okay? That's all you need in there. Okay? Nothing else. If you want to do an eDrawn of each individual part, go ahead, do it, but the assembly will be the main one. Okay? It's only a save as process as we covered before. So, that said, alright, you would repeat the same process for the Part B of your project. Alright? Very same. Use this tutorial again when you're doing Part B for arranging all your views and so on. And I hope it's been helpful for you. Okay? And wishing you all the very best of luck. Don't be stressing. You'll get the work done. It'll be fine. Okay? So the very best of luck. And if you have any questions or anything, just drop me an email. info@lio.ie. That's info@lio.ie. And if I can help at all, I will. Okay? The very best, everyone.